Okay, let's open a new document. We'll go into the File menu to Open. And inside the Lesson 6 folder, let's click on L6Start.ai and click Open. And we'll go into the View menu to fit all in Window. Okay, looks as though there's only one artboard in this document. Let's go into the Window menu to Workspace, and let's choose Like InDesign. Now looking over here at the Layers panel, we see that there are 4 layers already set up for us. If we want to see if there are any Photoshop images that have been imported, let's click on the Links panel, and we see that no Photoshop images have been imported. If we look at the Swatches panel, we see that we're looking at the swatches in small list view, which means we can see the swatch and a name for each swatch. Let's go under the View menu and see if guides are showing. So we'll go down to Guides, and since it says Hide Guides, that means guides are showing. So I'll just go back up here to View. And now let's go into the File menu to Document Color Mode. And we see that CMYK is checked. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink. And RGB stands for red, green, and blue light. So most often we use cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink for printing, also known as process printing or 4-color process. And we use RGB, red, green, blue light, to see color on a computer screen or display, or if the image is being projected, if we're looking at a website, we're looking at RGB color, red, green, blue color, and if we are printing a document, we usually use process color, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Let's go up here to File and go to New. And just want to show you that you can choose the color mode right here when creating a new document. And I usually use CMYK. You can always change to RGB later, but I usually start with assuming that the document's going to print, and I choose the CMYK color mode, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So let's go ahead and cancel that. And let's go back into the Window menu to Workspace. And since we're going to be doing lots of coloring, or what they call painting, let's go ahead and switch to the Painting workspace. Okay, and then we're going to come over here and just quickly review the panels over here on the right. We've got the Navigator panel, and then the Info panel, and below that the Color panel and the Swatches panel, and then the Color Guide, and below that we've got the Brushes, Stroke, and Symbols panels, and then below that we've got the Layers panel. So let's come back up here to the Swatches panel, and I'm going to click on the lower right hand corner and drag down just to reveal more of the Swatches panel. And let's change it to small list view. I'm going to click on the Swatches panel menu and come down here to small list view. And now we can see the swatches and a name for each swatch. And if we scroll down, we see inside here there are a couple folders with swatches inside, which is a really nice way to organize swatches. So here we've got a print color group and also a grayscale color group inside. And we've got some more over here docked to the left. We've got the Appearance panel and the Graphic Styles panel, and below that we've got the Gradient panel and the Transparency panel, and then another group of panels, the Transform panel, the Align panel, and the Pathfinder panel. Okay, so those are all over there. Now I'm going to go get my black arrow, my selection tool, and then I'm going to come over here and click on the blue aqua art and select that. And then we're going to take a look at the bottom of the Tools panel. And over here we see the fill indicator and the stroke indicator. And the fill indicator is in the front right now. But we can toggle back and forth between these very easily just by hitting the letter X. And every time you hit the letter X, you toggle back and forth between the fill indicator and the stroke indicator. Anytime you want to fill an object, the fill indicator has to be to the front. Anytime you want to stroke an object with a stroke around the edges of the object, the stroke indicator must be to the front. Now I'm going to make sure that the fill indicator is to the front, and then I'm going to come over here and look at the Swatches panel. And I see that dark blue is highlighted. So it tells us what color has been used to fill that object. And if I hit the letter X again to bring the stroke indicator to the front, now I can look at the top of the Swatches panel and see that this object has been stroked with black. And also, if I come down here to the stroke panel, I can see that the stroke is one point in. Okay, now also coming back up here to the appearance panel, and I'm just going to pull down on the lower right hand corner of that panel to reveal more. If we look in the appearance panel, we see this object has a stroke and a fill. That appearance is listed up here, and if we just click once on the color box next to the word fill, and then hold down on this little arrow right here, we can see the Swatches panel right from within the appearance panel, which is really nice, very convenient. If we were to double click on the swatch with which this object has been filled, the color here, we can just double click on that color and we get the swatch options dialog box. So we see the percentages of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black that are used to create this dark blue color. And you can see it's called a process color. Now I'm just going to click cancel. And then I'm going to come over here and close the miniature swatches panel by clicking to the right on that fill layer. So I'm going to close that swatches panel. And also notice in the appearance panel we can access opacity. So if I click on the word opacity, I get the opacity panel right from within the appearance panel, which is very convenient. And I'll just close that again by clicking on the right of the opacity layer here and closing that panel. And then I can close the appearance panel. If we go over here to the color panel, we see that there are two little arrows to the left of the word color, and that means that we can reveal more or less of the panel. So I'm going to click on those two little arrows to the left of the word color and then click again. Okay, now we've got the entire color panel showing, and once again we can see the percentages of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black that make up that blue color. And at the bottom of the swatches panel, let's go back to the swatches panel and just quickly look at the bottom of the swatches panel, and we see that we've got on the far left here at the bottom we have the Swatch Libraries menu, and then I'm just going to close that for now. And then the next one we've got is a way to look at all the swatches at once, or just the color swatches, just the gradient, just the pattern, or just the color. We'll look at all swatches. And then we have a button that allows us to get to the options panel for just a particular color that's chosen, in this case the dark blue. I'm going to cancel. And then we've got a button to create a new color group. This just basically creates a new folder, and we can drag color swatches into that folder to make a new color group. And then we've got the new swatch button here at the bottom of the swatches panel and the delete swatch. So there's a very quick review of the menu and buttons that are at the bottom of the swatches panel.